I am so proud and so glad that 2013 me decided to make that choice and make that jump. Was it scary? Oh my God, it was so freaking scary, guys. It really was. But I'm so glad that I'd made that leap. So my journey begins with me doing something at college that I didn't want to do, forensic science, and I went into a job in jewelry because I, started kind of getting a little bit older during college and I thought I could do with a little bit more money here. So I joined another big high street brand and it was jewelry, right? And basically I kind of fell into starting to study for my Jet 1 exam, my Jet 2 exam, and lots of different things, like lots of different like little diplomas, little courses and lots of different things. I then moved into a job that I actually really enjoy. And to this day, it is probably the best job I've ever had. And that basically got shut down. I got made redundant 2 years in. And I was like, distraught. What do I do? My friends are all here. I love the community side of it. I just really enjoyed it. Was I still wanting to get out and do my own thing? Yes, I was. And this really does go back to, I was entrepreneurial even as a child. If you've read my book, you'll know a lot more about this. I probably had about 6 different businesses before I reached teenagehood. So I've always been kind of someone who wants to like branch out and do my own thing. But that was outside of the norm. So fast forward, and I had been made redundant, obviously. And I then went into another job for a not high street brand, but an independent jeweler. And by day 2 of me doing this job, I absolutely hated it. The kind of job that I had applied for was not the job that I was doing. I was promised that this would be, I was promised the assistant manager job, and that's what I interviewed for. That's what I went for. That was what I was hired for. And then like 2 months later, they were like, oh, well, you're actually like a sales associate more so. So that's what you're going to be doing. And I was like, I wanted to take this job to get a little bit further. During all of this, I decided in my infinite wisdom, I need to try harder. And I think a lot of us can resonate with that. We're always like, I need to do better. I need to try harder. So I enrolled in a gemology course, and it literally cost me 3/4 of my full-time wages every single month for like 2 years for me to pay off. Great decision, Steph. So halfway through doing this, I was like, ugh, I really don't want to do this. It just wasn't really what I wanted to do. My job wasn't going so well. And to be honest with you, at that time, bearing in mind it was 2013, there wasn't a lot in the way of prospects for someone like me to branch out on their own doing jewelry. Jewelry is a very expensive business, fine jewelry, diamonds, gems, whatever. So very expensive jewelry to start off on. And a lot of people around me were kind of like pushing me into doing valuations, antique jewelry, buying and selling, none of which really lit me up. There wasn't this fire in my belly. I could see how it could work. Sure, I had the knowledge to make it work. Yes, of course I did. But it just wasn't lighting me up. Okay. And that is when I started to discover making my own jewelry. I was like, why does jewelry have to cost thousands? Like, why can't we just play around with shapes, with metals, with color, a bit like what you do when you create a piece of art? Why can't we do more of that? So basically, that is what I did. I started to fiddle around, and it was a very slow process. I was working full time at this job. Meanwhile, I started to feel a little bit unwell. And basically, my mental health was just declining because the boss of this job was straight up abusive, very sexist. There was a lot kind of going on behind the scenes that I did not like, but I felt like I had to stay because of this. I don't know, this kind of patriarchal view, I suppose, in my head that was like, I have to stick this out. Like, this is my one chance. Okay. And needless to say, like, if you want to be high up in the fine jewelry side of things, especially where I live, it was all kind of men who were in their late 60s. And that was pretty much everybody that was around me. There was no one like me who was doing the thing that I wanted to do. So I was like, I have to be grateful for every opportunity I get, and I have to stick this out. I'm sure probably some of you can relate to that a little bit, right? So I was feeling really, really unwell. I had this constant pain in my stomach. I started to throw up during lunchtime. I was going back to the doctors, and they were like, yeah, it's ovulation pains, it's this, whatever. I felt like something was wrong and I couldn't put my finger on it. Like I kept going back and they were just like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Until one day I was like, I came into work and it was a struggle, man. It was a struggle to wake up. It was a struggle to stay awake. I had a fever. I was sweating. I actually had like a massive sore on the side of my face. And again, I just started being sick and I got to work and it was just a struggle. I could not do it. And the sad thing is that I really wanted to call in sick, but I felt like I couldn't. So basically, fast forward, my appendix was grumbling for the longest time. Went to the hospital. Literally like 2 hours before, I was at work doing boxes, selling jewelry, and then I went to the doctors. The doctors were like, "You need to go to the hospital." In hospital, I was there to have my appendix taken out, obviously, as you do, but my heart rate was too high. I had quite a nasty infection, obviously. And basically they were like, in a catch-22, we can't operate because your heart rate is far too high. We need to wait for that to come down. You know, it's just a lot of stuff. I've been injected with God knows what, left, right, and center. I'm going to be honest with you, I was in and out of consciousness, so I don't really know what went on to this day, really. And basically, long story short, appendix went bang. I had to get it taken out. And after this, when I was recovering at home, I was like, I could have literally died. Like if I'd have left that and gone, no, it's fine, which I was intending on doing, that could have been it. And I was thinking, do I really want like that job to be the last thing that I was doing? No. So that was what really gave me the kick up the bum to start my Etsy shop, kick things off. Was it perfect? My God, it wasn't. I went through several branding changes, several name changes, several niche changes, like everything changed every month because I was so desperate to get this right. I started off getting a few sales and then it all kind of went and I was like, all right, fine. Then I started my own website and then that got a couple of sales here and there, but I had to fight hard for them. You know what I mean? And then that kind of stopped. And it was at that point, I was about six months in at this point, and I was thinking, oh my God, I need this to work. I remember being on the phone to my mum and saying, I don't care how much I earn from this. If it's 20 quid a week, that's fine. I just need to get out of this job. So really, I wanted the money, but I just literally wanted barely enough that I could quit this job. I was so desperate. So basically, then what happened is that I sat down and was like, right, I need to take a week or two off of work. So I took like a week, 2 weeks off, and I was like, I need to figure this out. And this is where the famous picture comes in. If you've ever seen me talking on webinars, trainings, and I have that classic picture of me with a cup of tea at the top of this massive tower on Mother's Day, that was the day that I was like, I need to sit down and make a plan. And the rest, as they say, is history, because that basically was the plan that I then built upon, that then became the HBSA. So as you can imagine, I quit my full-time job on April the 16th, 2016. And I was so scared to quit my job. I wanted to leave for 2 months. And it was the people around me, the other employees that he had that were also unhappy, by the way, that basically were like goaded me into doing it. They're like, just go and do it now. And I ran up the stairs and I want to quit, please. So I just wanted to tell you this just because I know that a lot of the time it's very romanticized, isn't it? This whole thing about being a handmade creative entrepreneur. It sounds very floaty, very lovely. But the journey oftentimes isn't, and you will have roadblocks and they will be massive. There will be little ones. There will be ones that you think, can anything else go wrong? You'll also have those days when things go right and you do things and you're thinking, yes, this has been easy. This feels amazing. This feels so expansive for me. And I just want you just to hold on to that. If things are seeming very, very hard right now, things are feeling like it is a constant uphill battle, trust me, it does get better. Every single roadblock you overcome, every single challenge you deal with, every single time you pick yourself up off the floor is another ladder. It's another rung in your ladder towards where you want to go. It's compound interest. It is literally maths that every time you make a mistake, you will learn from it and you will get stronger for it as well. So I just really wanted to come on here to tell you that your journey is not always going to be linear. It's not always going to be fun. But let me tell you, my God, I am so proud and so glad that 2013 me, 2014 me, 2015 me decided to make that choice and make that jump. Was it scary? My God, it was so freaking scary, guys. It really was. But I'm so glad that I'd made that leap.